What's up, War Report family? We are back with another great edition of Facts or Nah, bi-week edition. Fellas, you guys ready to do this?
Indeed.
Of course.
Let's get it kicked off like this. Facts or Nah, Derek Hall will have the highest sack total on the team by the end of the year. Fellas, what do we think?
I'm going to go nah here. And while that's a very tempting selection in Derek Hall, who's been having a great season, I'm going to go with Aku Leota, who's actually tied with Derek Hall with 5 sacks. It's actually a 3-way tie with Kobe Wooden also getting in there with 5 sacks as well during the season. So I like Aku Leota. He's actually lived up to the hype. He's basically been the beneficiary of TD Moultrie being out, and I think he's earned more playing time with his play, especially on passing situations. He's been able to generate a lot of pressure, get to the QB. So I like Aku Leota. Be interesting to see if TD Moultrie comes back anytime soon, if that affects his playing time. But I'm going to go with Aku Leota for now. So nah for me.
I'm going to go nah on this one as well. I'm tempted to pick Aku Leota, but because you just mentioned the guy TD Moultrie, who has an opportunity to come back and play, he's likely going to take some of those edge snaps away from both Derek Hall and from Aku Leota. So I'm going to actually think that Wooden is the guy that ends up with the most sacks on the team. He is the one that is tied for the most currently, and I think that his productivity is just going to continue to get better as we go forward into the season. There are some offensive lines that have been struggling to protect their quarterback that are left on our schedule. So I think there's a good chance that he ends with the highest sacks on the team. So I'm going to go nah.
Yep, I'm going facts on this one. Did you see our guy Derek Hall on Saturday? Not only did he get a sack, he got the biggest sack of the game. He's busting through double teams. He's doing everything he needs to do to be the sack leader on this team. It's Derek Hall, 100%. I'm going with my guy. Listen, I like Leo. I like what Leota's doing. I like what Wooden's doing. But I think Derek Hall is going to take the belt this year. Facts. Derek Hall.
All right, guys. Facts or nah? Auburn will have at least one running back cross the 1,000-yard mark this season.
Well, I'm going facts on this one. I expect from now until the end of the season that one of these guys is going to really, really get going in one of the games that we have left on our schedule, particularly Mississippi State or South Carolina. So expect Jarquez or Tank to have a really big rushing total to kind of pad the stats and then average it on into a 1,000-yard season. I'm going facts on this one. Auburn gets their first 1,000-yard rusher since Kerryon Johnson in 2017. Facts.
I think I'm going to go nah on this one. It's going to require, like Mike said, getting off on somebody. Ole Miss is likely the best opportunity for it. I just think that we are splitting carries too much. Tank has started to pick up a little bit more of the responsibility in the run game. I just think that defenses are still keyed in a little bit too much on the run. Even if he does get off in 1 or 2 games, the remainder of those games, those defenses are going to be too stingy for him to quite get there. He probably will break 900, but I don't think he's going to quite make it to 1,000, even though earlier in the season, if you had asked me that, I would have definitely said facts. But for right now, I'm going to go nah.
I'm actually going to go nah here as well. Considering where Tank is being the leading rusher, he's at 528, I believe, with 5 games left to go in the season. And to Ike's point, teams are still crashing down, looking for the run, looking to stop us on the ground. I do like where we are in terms of our offense. We're kind of a running back by committee, even though we have a star running back in Tank. And I think that's good for Tank as well as Hunter, keeping those guys healthy by splitting those carries. Either of these guys can get off in one night. And if you have a running back by committee, or if you have a night where Tank or Hunter goes off, that's less carries that the other guy gets. Where in the past, when we had over 1,000-yard rusher, they were the primary ball carrier in key situations, especially down the stretch of a game. So I like where we are right now. And I think where we are doesn't lend itself to a 1,000-yard rusher unless the bottom falls out with our opponents and they just start giving up the run, which I don't see that with A&M. Bama's kind of iffy at times, but I think we will have some success on the ground. I just don't see us having a 1,000-yard rusher with Hunter and Tank being a part of the running game. So no.
All right, fellas. Facts or nah? Auburn's defense will finish in the top 50 in the country in third down defense. How we feeling about that?
I'm gonna go nah here as well. I wanna see us improve, but I still thinking we're figuring some things out defensively. I think our defensive philosophy has changed a lot. I think when it come down to it, Auburn is willing to give up anything between the 20s. And we seem to pretty much lock down once teams get close to the red zone or even in the red zone. A perfect example of that is what we saw against Arkansas, where we were able to concede some plays. There were some big plays we gave up, but when it came time to lock down in the red zone, we held Arkansas to 23 points. Given how many yards they had on us total, that's actually quite impressive. And I think that's kind of the model that we're going to see with Mason. Going against Ole Miss, going against teams like Bama that can score and move the ball, I see us being a lot of bend but don't break. And I think at times we will see us suffer in terms of third down percentage. And that's going to cause Auburn fans to pull their hair out. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for us to keep teams out of the end zone and kicking field goals. So I think at the end of the day, our defense will be fine. It's just a different type of philosophy. And I don't think that philosophy leads us to improving our third down percentage with 5 games left. So nah.
I'm going big time facts on this one, baby. And why? Because some of the teams between where we're ranked and 50, we play, and we're going to beat them. Who's at 51? Bama. Just above us at 54, Mississippi State. We play both those teams, and I expect us to shut them down on third down this year. So that's 2 out of the 5 we're going to knock right out of there. There are not a whole lot of impressive teams there, guys. So I expect it to be a mix of Auburn raising their level of defense and other teams, frankly, just failing because they're not that good. So I'm going facts on this one. Auburn finishes in the top 50 because we were bottom 10 in the NCAA last year, and this is an improvement.
I'm going to go nah on this one. I think we get close. I have to agree with Mike. I do think that we improve before season's end with that mix of other teams faltering and Auburn getting better. But regardless of whether we get to the top 50, going from the bottom 10 to the top 60 is a drastic improvement from last year's third down defense. So I'm proud of what we're doing. So all of you people who want to get rid of Derek Mason, just think about that for a second. Look at where we were, look at where we are right now, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, shut up.
All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time for our fan question of the week. This week's question comes from @AuburnAlone on Instagram, and they ask, facts or nah, Auburn finishes 4-1 or better in the final 5 games of the season. Fellas, what do we think?
I'm going to fan out and just say facts. Why not? Auburn finishes 4-1. That leaves us with 9-3 on the year, which I didn't predict, but doggone it, I'm going to take it. And I think we can do it, especially if we continue to improve offensively, improving on both sides of the ball. I like where this team is going. I think Brian Harsin's culture and what he wants to do with this team is starting to take shape. The players are starting to believe, they're starting to feel confident. And as I look at the rest of our schedule, there's teams on it who look a little shaky at this point in the season. So it makes me feel really confident in terms of how we finish. I am concerned about that road trip to Texas A&M, and the Iron Bowl is always a tough one. So I think it's possible we can drop one between those two teams, but I'm going to go with us finishing 4-1 to finish the rest of our schedule, which will make for a very successful first year under Harsin, going into year 2, establishing his culture and program even more. That's a great way to start. I'm going facts here.
I'm on the fan train too. Listen, I told y'all 9-3 before the season started, so I'm sticking right there. We are only going to drop one more game the remainder of this season. I don't know who it's going to be to. We might not lose any of them. Honestly, I don't. All I know is Auburn is poised to do some fantastic things to finish this season off, and I am all on board of the Harsin train. Let's get these dubs to finish this year out and prove all of these people who thought that we were dead in the water wrong. Let's get it, baby. Facts.
Listen, fellas, if you're gonna sunshine pump, you gotta bring your shades. I'm
Yes,
going
indeed.
facts on this one, baby. I
Yeah.
predicted 10-2 on the season. That means no more losses for the rest of the season. So Ole Miss, get ready for this whooping. And after that, Texas A&M looks beatable. I know they beat Bama. I don't care. They're standing in our way. We do well in College Station. Mississippi State, South Carolina, we're going to beat them too. Alabama, no way, no how. This is the year their offensive line is beatable. We got a great coach this year. I think they put it all together on the back stretch. Not only we get backyard bowl, weightlifting bowl, whatever bowl we need to finish out the season. 5-0, we're doing it, baby. Facts. Auburn finishes 10-2 on the season. Hope I'm not wrong by next week. This might not age well. Well, that's it for another great edition of Facts or Nah. Listen, we want to hear from you. So if you want to get your question featured on this segment, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, #Facts or Nah, and we'll be sure to try to get your question up on the next segment. Other than that, you know where to find us. We are The War Report on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TW Report on TikTok. Gentlemen, we're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.